In the bustling city of Abuja, where skyscrapers kiss the sky and luxury cars line the streets, one of the most powerful companies in West Africa stood tall, Bright Tech Industries. A multi-billion-naira empire known for its groundbreaking clean energy technology and state-of-the-art smart home devices, Bright Tech was the pride of Nigeria. The building was a masterpiece of modern architecture, with shimmering glass walls, marble floors that gleamed under the bright lights, and employees dressed in crisp, professional attire. But behind the grand facade and the glowing signboard was a secret known only to one man, the true owner of Bright Tech. His name was Philip Stone, a 30-year-old billionaire, one of the youngest and most successful entrepreneurs in Africa. Yet, despite his immense wealth and influence, Philip remained a mystery to the world. No interviews, no social media presence, no public appearances. He was a ghost in his own empire, a shadow behind the brilliance of Bright Tech. The reason for his secrecy was simple: Philip was tired. Tired of the fake smiles, the hollow compliments, the endless parade of women who only saw his money and not the man behind it. He had been burned too many times, betrayed by those who claimed to love him but only desired the luxuries his wealth could provide. The fancy cars, the exotic vacations, the designer clothes, they were all just bait for gold diggers, and Philip was done being the prey. One evening, as he sat in his penthouse overlooking the city, he made a decision that would change his life forever. Turning to his loyal friend and personal assistant, Michael, Philip said, "I'm going to do something drastic. I'm going to pretend to be a cleaner in my own company." Michael nearly choked on his coffee. "You're joking, right? You, mopping floors and scrubbing toilets?" Philip shook his head, his expression serious. "I need to know who really cares about me. If a woman can love me when I'm at my lowest, then she's the one who deserves me at my best." The next morning, the transformation began. Philip cut his expensive haircut into a simple, low style. He swapped his tailored suits for oversized, faded clothes, his leather shoes for worn-out rubber slippers. He even darkened his skin slightly with makeup and practiced speaking in a rougher, more unrefined tone. By the time he was done, Philip Stone, the billionaire, was gone. In his place stood John, a poor, struggling cleaner looking for work. When he arrived at Bright Tech's staff entrance, the security guards barely glanced at him. One of them, a burly man with a permanent scowl, barked, "What do you want?" Philip, now John, replied in his practiced rough voice, "I'm the new cleaner." The guard waved him inside without another word. The indifference stung, but Philip expected it. Inside, the corporate world buzzed around him, executives in sharp suits, assistants clutching tablets, interns rushing with coffee. No one looked at him. No one spoke to him. He was invisible, just another faceless worker in the background. The janitorial supervisor, a stern woman named Mrs. Adele, handed him a mop and a bucket. "Your duty areas are the ground floor hallways, the lobby, and the toilets. Don't slack off." Philip nodded. "Yes, ma'am." And just like that, his new life began. The work was grueling, scrubbing sticky floors, cleaning filthy restrooms, hauling heavy trash bags. His muscles ached, his hands grew rough, and the disdainful looks from employees cut deeper than he anticipated. But he endured it, day after day, watching, waiting, searching for someone who would see him as more than just the help. Then, one afternoon, as he wiped down tables in the staff cafeteria, he noticed her, Karen. She was sitting alone, eating a modest meal of rice and stew from a small container. Her clothes were simple, her shoes slightly worn, but there was a quiet grace about her. What caught his attention, though, was the way she smiled at one of the older cleaners and offered her water. Such a small act of kindness, but in a place where people like him were ignored, it stood out. When he passed her table, she looked up and said, "Good afternoon, sir." Philip paused, surprised. "You're talking to me?" She nodded. "Of course. I see you working hard every day. May God bless your hands." He smiled, something real and unguarded. "Amen. And may He bless yours too." That night, as Philip sat in his small, rented apartment, he refused to cheat by going back to his penthouse. He replayed the moment in his mind. Karen's voice, her smile, the way she acknowledged him when no one else did. He called Michael, who arrived with takeout and a curious grin. "So, how's life as a poor man?" Philip smirked. "Harder than I thought." But something interesting happened. Michael raised an eyebrow. "Oh? I met someone. Her name is Karen. She's different." Michael leaned in. "Different how?" She looked me in the eye. She spoke to me like I was a person. "No one else does that." Michael whistled. "You think she's genuine?" Philip sighed. "I don't know yet. But I'm going to find out. And if she is, her life will never be the same." The next day, Philip returned to Brightech with a newfound purpose. He went through his cleaning routine mechanically, but his attention was fixed on one thing, Karen. He watched her as she moved through the office, noticing how she treated everyone with respect, from the security guards to the interns. She didn't engage in office gossip, didn't flirt for favors, didn't put on airs. She was quiet, hardworking, and kind. At lunch, he saw her again in the cafeteria, eating the same modest meal. This time, when a tired office messenger passed by, she called him over and gave him half of her food. "Take it," she said gently. "You look like you need it more than I do." Philip's heart swelled. This wasn't an act. This was who she truly was. That evening, he followed her home, keeping a safe distance. She didn't take a cab or a bus, she walked, her steps steady despite the distance. Her apartment was in a modest neighborhood, a far cry from the luxury Philip was used to, but it was clean and well kept. As he stood across the street, watching her disappear inside, he made a decision. "Michael," he said later that night, "I want to do something for her. But quietly. She can't know it's me." Michael nodded. "What do you have in mind?" "First, I want to make sure she never worries about rent again. Find out who her landlord is and pay 6 months up front. No name, no explanation." "Consider it done," Michael said. "What else?" "Find out why she's still a junior in IT. If she's qualified for more, I want her promoted." The next morning, Karen was stunned when her landlord greeted her with a wide smile. "Someone paid 6 months of your rent in advance. Anonymous. Just to tell you the debt is cleared." Karen's hands trembled. Who would do that?" The landlord shrugged. "Maybe God sent an angel. Just be grateful." Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, "Thank you, God." At work, she couldn't contain her joy. When she saw Philip, still disguised as John, during her break, she rushed over. "You won't believe what happened. My rent was paid 6 months. No one knows who did it." Philip feigned surprise. "Wow. That's amazing. God works in mysterious ways." She nodded, her voice thick with emotion. I just wish I could thank whoever did it. He smiled. I'm sure they know how grateful you are. She studied him for a moment. You know, you're different too. Most people here ignore the cleaners. But you listen. You treat people like they matter. Philip met her gaze. It cost nothing to be kind. Philip continued working as John the cleaner while secretly observing Karen's daily life. He noticed how she remained humble despite her struggles, how she shared her little food with others, and how she worked late nights without complaint. But not everyone treated her with kindness. Mr. Thompson, the arrogant general manager, had been watching Karen too. One afternoon, he called her into his lavish office. You're a beautiful woman, Karen, he said smoothly. Thank you, sir, she replied cautiously. Thompson leaned back in his leather chair. I can change your life. I practically run this company. Be mine, and I'll promote you, buy you nice things. Karen's face remained calm. I'm not interested, sir. Thompson's smile vanished. You're refusing me? Look at you, walking to work, eating cheap food. I'm offering you luxury. Karen stood firm. I'd rather be poor with dignity than rich with shame. As she walked out, Thompson's face darkened with rage. You'll regret this. Philip heard about the incident from office whispers. That evening, as Karen sat alone in the hallway looking distressed, he approached. Are you okay? She forced a smile. Just work stress. Philip sat beside her. I heard what Thompson did. Karen's eyes widened. How? Office gossip travels fast, he said. Don't worry about him. But he's the manager. He can fire me. Philip's voice turned firm. No, he can't. And he won't. The next day, Philip confronted Thompson in his office. Stay away from Karen. Thompson laughed. Or what? You're just a cleaner. Philip stepped closer, his eyes burning with intensity. If you harass her again, you'll regret it more than she ever could. For the first time, Thompson felt fear. There was something unnerving about this cleaner's confidence. Weeks passed. Karen and Philip grew closer during their breaks. One rainy afternoon, as they shared a bench in the staff garden, Karen opened up. My parents died when I was young. I've been alone ever since. That's why I appreciate every kindness, no matter how small. Philip's heart ached. You're not alone anymore. Their eyes met, and in that moment, something shifted. Karen reached for his hand. There's something about you, John, something special. Philip wanted to confess everything, but he hesitated. Not yet. One morning, Karen was shocked to receive a promotion letter, senior IT specialist with triple her salary. Thompson delivered the news bitterly. The CEO himself ordered this. Seems you have powerful friends. Karen was speechless. That evening, she found Philip mopping the executive floor. John. Guess what? I got promoted. Philip smiled. I knew you would. You deserve it. As they celebrated with cheap snacks from the vending machine, Karen studied Philip's face. You knew about this before me, didn't you? How? Philip froze. The moment of truth had come. At the quarterly staff meeting, the CEO was announced to make a rare appearance. The employees buzzed with excitement. Then Philip walked onto the stage, but not as John the cleaner. Dressed in an impeccable suit, he addressed the shocked crowd. My name is Philip Stone. I own Brightech. Gasps filled the room. Karen covered her mouth. Thompson turned pale. For months, I worked among you as a cleaner to understand my company's true culture. Some of you treated others with dignity. He looked at Karen, while some abused their power. His gaze landed on Thompson. Security escorted Thompson out immediately. Then Philip stepped down from the stage and knelt before Karen. You saw me when I was invisible. You loved me when I had nothing. Now I want to give you everything. Tears streamed down Karen's face as the entire company watched. 1 year later, the wedding of Philip Stone and Karen was the social event of the decade. Former cleaner colleagues sat alongside billionaires. As they danced under the stars, Karen whispered, "Who would have thought my best friend at work was the owner all along?" Philip smiled. "And who would have thought the CEO would find his queen in the IT department?" Together, they transformed Brighttech's culture, ensuring every employee felt valued. And every anniversary, Philip and Karen would spend one day working incognito, he as a cleaner, she as a junior staffer, to remember where true love began. As Philip and Karen stood on the balcony of their penthouse overlooking Abuja's glittering skyline, she turned to him with a thoughtful expression. "You know, our story could teach people so much," she said softly. Philip wrapped his arm around her. "What do you think they should learn?" Karen counted on her fingers. 1. True love sees the heart, not the wallet. You could have had any woman in Abuja, but you wanted someone who loved Philip, not the billionaire. 2. Kindness costs nothing but means everything. That simple, "good afternoon," to a cleaner changed both our lives forever. 3. Character is who you are when no one is watching. You saw my true nature when I didn't know anyone important was looking. 4. Greatness isn't about what you have, but how you treat those who have nothing. The way a person treats service staff reveals their real character. Philip kissed her forehead. And the most important lesson. Karen smiled. When you meet someone at their lowest, love them enough to celebrate them at their highest. 5 years later, Brighttech became Africa's most employee-friendly corporation, with Karen pioneering programs for underprivileged staff. The couple established the Clean Start Foundation, helping thousands escape poverty through vocational training. And every December 16th, the anniversary of their first conversation, Philip and Karen would anonymously pay rents, school fees, and medical bills for struggling families across Nigeria. Now your turn, friends. Did this story touch your heart? Here's how you can help spread its message. Smash that like button if you believe true love exists beyond money and status. Comment "Love Wins" below with which lesson resonated most with you. Turn on notifications so you never miss our inspiring real-life stories. Share this story to inspire others to value people, not possessions. Because in a world obsessed with filters and facades, real connections begin when we see souls, not status. Stay blessed, family.